Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajracharya Ashtotara Shuddha Shishma A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajracharya Ashtotara Shuddha Shishma Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Imunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai New Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Ranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Eighth Canto, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations, Chapter 22, starting with text 19. Please repeat after me. Padam Viksha Patim Sadvi Tatpatni Bhaya Vivala Pranjali Pranato Pindram Pabashe Van Mukhi Nripa Badam Bhikshapatim Sadvi Tatpatni Bhaya Vivala Pranjali Pranato Pendram Babashe Vanmukhi Nripa Padam Bhikshapatim Sadvi Tatpatni Bhaya Vivala Pranjali Pranato Pendram Babashe Vanmukhi Nripa Padam Bhikshapatim Sadvi Tatpatni Bhaya Vivala Pranjali Pranato Bendram Babashe Vanmukhi Nripa We like to chat. Any online reciters? Okay. Badam, arrested. Viksha, seen. Patim, her husband. Sadvi, the chaste woman. Tatpatni, Bali Maharaja's wife. Bhaya Vivala, being very disturbed by fear. Pranjali, with folded hands. Pranata, having offered obeisances. Upendram, unto Vamanadev. Babashe, addressed. Avakmukhi, with face downward. Nirpa, Amaraj Prikshit. Translation. But Bali Maharaj's chaste wife, afraid and aggrieved at seeing her husband arrested, immediately offered obeisances to Lord Vamanadev, Upendra. She folded her hands and spoke as follows. Purport. Although Lord Brahma was speaking, he had to stop for a while because Bali Maharaj's wife, Vindhyāvali, who was very agitated and afraid, wanted to say something. Shri Vindhyāvali Uvacha Kridartam Atmana. How does it go? Kridartam Atmana Idam Trijagat Kritam Te Samyam Tu Tatra Kudiyo Para Isha Kuryu Kartu Prabostava Kim Asyata Avahanti Takta Hiyas Tvat Avar Ropiti Kartrivadaha. Translation. Śrīmatī Vindhyāvali said, O my Lord, you have created the entire universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes. But foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly, they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think they can give charity and enjoy. In such a condition, what good can they do for you, who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe? Purport. Bali Maharaj's wife, who was most intelligent, supported the arrest of her husband and accused him of having no intelligence because he had claimed proprietorship over the property of the Lord. Such a claim is a sign of demoniac life. Although the demigods, who are officials appointed by the Lord for management, are attached to materialistic enjoyment, they never claim to be proprietors of the universe, for they know that the actual proprietor of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the qualification of the demigods. But the demons, instead of accepting the exclusive proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, claim the property of the universe for themselves through demarcations of nationalism. This part is mine and that part is yours, they say. This part I can give in charity, and this part I can keep for my enjoyment. These are all demoniac conceptions. This is described in Bhagavad Gita 16:13. Idam adyamayam labdam imam prapyasi manoratam. Thus far I have acquired so much money and land. Now I have to add more and more. In this way I shall be the greatest proprietor of everything. Who can compete with me? These are all demoniac conceptions. Bali Maharaj's wife accused Bali Maharaj by saying that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead had arrested him, showing him extraordinary mercy, and although Bali Maharaj was offering his body to the Supreme Lord for the Lord's third step, he was still in the darkness of ignorance. Actually, the body did not belong to him, but because of his long-standing demonic mentality, he could not understand this. He thought that since he had been defamed for his inability to fulfill his promise of charity, and since the body belonged to him, he would free himself from defamation by offering his body. Actually, however, the body does not belong to anyone but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whom the body is given. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18:61, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshya janatishti brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudani maya. The Lord is situated in the core of everyone's heart, and according to the material desires of the living entity, the Lord offers a particular type of machine, the body, through the agency of the material energy. The body actually does not belong to the living entity, it belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Under the circumstances, how could Bali Maharaj claim that the body belonged to him? Thus, Vindhyāvali, Bali Maharaj's intelligent wife, prayed that her husband be released by the Lord's causeless mercy. Otherwise, Bali Maharaj was nothing but a shameless demon, specifically described as Tukta Hriyastvad Ivarapita Karitvadaha, a foolish person claiming proprietorship over the property of the Supreme Person. In the present age, Kali Yuga, the number of such shameless men who are agnostics, disbelieving in the existence of God, has increased. Trying to defy the authority of the Supreme Personality of God, so-called scientists, philosophers, and politicians manufacture plans and schemes for the destruction of the world. They cannot do anything good for the world. And unfortunately, because of Kali Yuga, they have plunged the affairs of the world into mismanagement. Thus, there is a great need for the Krishna consciousness movement for the benefit of innocent people who are being carried away by propaganda of such demons. If the present status quo is allowed to continue, people will certainly suffer more and more under the leadership of these demoniac agnostics. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Makam Karivachalam Pangam Langai Tegrim Yak Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurundina Taranam Vansha Kalpadribisha Kripa Sindhubivacha Patitanam Pavani Byo Vaishnave Byo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Read the last translation again. Śrīmatī Vindhyāvali said, O my Lord, you have created the entire universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes, but foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly, they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think that they can give charity and enjoy. such a condition, what good can they do for you, who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe? There's the idea of competition, souls competing with Krishna, or the souls wanting to take the position of Krishna, trying to take the position of God. God is the supreme controller and proprietor and enjoyer. I mean, of course, there's many other things he is, but those are some of the qualities. Supreme proprietor and controller and enjoyer. And in order for people to have a sense of enjoyment, they think that they have to own things or control things. It's like if you want to enjoy a property, for example, you have to own it. How are you supposed to enjoy it? There's somebody else who has that property, and they're doing what they want with it, and that may not involve you at all. So a person has to own something, has to be the proprietor of something, and therefore control it, and then have a sense of enjoyment. Okay, now I'm enjoying. I'm controlling things. I'm owning things. But as we're seeing in this pastime, that Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and the supreme controller. And the more that the living entity tries to take that position of a proprietor, enjoyer, controller, the more that they suffer, really. We may have that experience in our lives. We've tried to own things, or tried to control things, enjoy things, and we may have had the experience that brings suffering. Because something interesting about the world is that although we want to own things and control things and enjoy things, there's another. How many people are out there now, they say? What's the population? 8 billion? Okay. There's another, some billions of people out there wanting to do the same thing. And as much as people want to own and control and enjoy, there's a bunch of people out there who don't want to feel like they're being controlled. We may want to have a sense of controlling people, but the people don't want to be controlled. So it's like, and it's interesting because they want to control people, but then they don't want to be controlled. And then you get a lot of people like that. So you can imagine how that turns out. Everybody competing. It's called envy. So we see that things in this world, naturally, they go against our general wishes. We do not wish people to disrespect us. It happens all the time. We do not wish to lose our wallet, or for someone to steal our wallet. It happens sometimes. And on and on and on and on. There's so many examples of how we are not wishing that something happens, and it happens. So the more we could learn how to just be happy, be satisfied, being detached, and letting Krishna be the supreme controller and enjoyer and proprietor, the more we'll be able to be satisfied. When Srila Sanatana Goswami And in Chaitanya Leela, when he was going through Jharkhand forest to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he contracted some very terrible disease. He drank water that was not good, not meant for human consumption, and he had a terrible disease in which his body, there were so many sores all over his body, open sores. So when he got to Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya met him there, and by force, loving affection, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. He was his devotee. So he wanted to show some affection towards him, so he embraced him. And this was horrible for Sanatana Goswami, because he's thinking, the transcendental body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the all-blissful personality of Godhead, he has to touch my disgusting body that is just oozing with pus and blood and sores. And I don't want him to do this, but he forcibly did it out of affection. But still, it's just horrible. And Lord Chaitanya insisted on doing that, saying that your body is never contaminated, you're a pure devotee of the Lord, and so on. So Sanatana Goswami was thinking to himself that maybe I should just give up my life. Maybe I should just commit suicide, because I have such a useless body, a diseased body, and specifically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's wanting to embrace this diseased body, so I should just give up my life. Better I die. So he was thinking, let me throw this body under the cart, under the wheel of Lord Jagannath's cart, which in Puri, I don't know how, I'm not sure how high those carts are, but I imagine the wheels probably is from this floor to the ceiling, I would think. It's a big wheel, so if you throw your body under that, you'll surely expire. The soul will leave the body. So he was thinking like that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being omniscient, is Krishna, he understood that. He was thinking that. So then he went to Sanatana Goswami and told him that this is wrong thinking, you shouldn't think like this. That you have surrendered to me, so actually your body is my property. It's not yours. You've surrendered your body to me, so you cannot do what you like with it. You cannot commit suicide. 45 feet tall, the wheels, yeah, so dangerous. That's what Govardhan just looked up.
It's like as tall as what's this? This is like what? This is like 15? This is like 15 feet? It's like 3 of these.
Yeah.
I think it's the total. So I think that's the cart.
Oh, the cart's 45. Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine that the wheel would be something like from this floor to the ceiling here, but because, anyways. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "This is my body; it's not your body. You surrendered your body to me, so you cannot do that." And furthermore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, and through your body, Sanatana Goswami, I have so many desires or so many things I want to fulfill. This idea of being a divine instrument in the hands of Krishna. Working for Krishna, doing Krishna's work in this world. One could be like an instrument. And Krishna's physical absence and the spiritual master's physical absence and the absence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and so on. The devotees, they act as agents of Krishna, as agents of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the spiritual master, to do what? To fulfill the purpose of their mission, which is to spread Krishna consciousness. So Lord Chaitanya was saying to Sanatana Goswami, I have so many things to fulfill through your body. You could act as a divine instrument. So devotees should, of course, one should think oneself lower than the straw on the street. It's not that one should be as humble as, the verse doesn't say one should be as humble as a straw on the street or as a blade of grass, more humble than a blade of grass, but it says one should think oneself like that. Because of mentality, we should think ourselves like that. Thinking we're doing all the time, so we should always think ourselves like that. But still, one should also have this sense that Krishna, the spiritual master, they can work through me. That's an important thing to have, and devotees should. Christians have that. The preaching Christians, they have that. You know, the Lord is working through me, and they're going to go out there and save everybody, and they're really into that. They have that, you know, zealous kind of. I'm here. I'm a representative of God here, which you could say there's some distorted form because there's mixed with pride and envy and so many things. Generally speaking, we see it in mainstream Christians out there in the soapbox at the colleges and stuff. Okay, fine, but you have to give them some credit for having that mood. Yes, I'm here. I'm an agent of God. I'm here to help people. God's working through me. And devotees could develop more of that, have more of that, have confidence in that we can make a difference. And even if we just make a difference in one person's life, that is glorious. What to speak of many people's lives, but even one, that's great. Naveen and myself were picking some stuff up for the temple last night. Some guy, he said, "Oh, you guys like Buddhists or something?" And we said, "No, we're Hare Krishna. We go to Hare Krishna's temple there in Pacific Beach." And luckily, there were some books in the van. Thank God, because I'm always trying to tell devotees, keep books in the cars, keep cards in the cars. So luckily there were some books, so we gave him a Beyond Birth and Death, and we gave him a Krishna Lounge card. He gave $500, just joking. So we could feel ourselves like that, to try to act. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, I have so many things to fulfill through your body, so many desires, so many things to achieve. So you could act as like an instrument, divine instrument. So that's what he told him. And then he said, furthermore, this desire to commit suicide in general is not a recommended path. It is born of ignorance. It's not a recommended path. So in that way, we can try to follow this in principle. I remember some years ago I was in Mayapur and I was thinking to go meet Jayapataka Goswami. Of course, it might be selfish on my part because there's another 60,000 people who want to meet with him or more. He's initiated like, exaggerating, but half of Bengal or something. But yeah, he crossed the 50,000 mark some years ago in terms of disciples. But so I was wanting to go meet him. So I went upstairs to the roof where he lives, near the temple. I think that's the Lotus? Lotus building. He lives on the roof there. And wasn't anything planned, but I was, okay, let me see if I could try to kind of sneak my way in there. And then Maharaj was giving darshan and he was speaking to his disciples and other people. So he comes out and he starts speaking to his disciples and other people. And I was sitting in the audience and he started reading this section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sanatana Goswami wanting to commit suicide, and how Lord Chaitanya said, better not, this is not your body, this is my body, I have so many things to fulfill through your body, spread Krishna consciousness and so on. So he was getting to that whole section. So I just took it as, okay, that will be my message from Jayapataka Swami. I didn't personally speak with him, but I took that as my message from him. And he's a very perfect example of that, just giving everything to Krishna. His full energy of his body and his mind and his words, even despite his extremely challenging health issues with being in the wheelchair, still flying here, flying there, and preaching. So he has great enthusiasms. So I took that as my message from him. But I did get some of his Mahaprasadam, so that was, I say Mahaprasadam, some disciple. Any questions or comments? Any online questions or comments? Is Bijay Krishna there? Dhamraj, you have something?
Yes, we have Vijay Prabhu and Vanessa here.
Okay. Maybe they don't have anything. Dharmesh?
Can you talk about maybe what Sanatana Goswami did after that? Like
What happened?
some key
What happened?
things.
Well, I mean, Sanatana Goswami, yeah, that's a good point, because what happened? Did he go against Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advice and commit suicide and go into the wrath cart? What did he do? So, Chaitanya, yeah, thank you. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, Sanatana Goswami's heart was melting with affection, the affection of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and having this whole beautiful exchange. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through his mystic potency, he cures him. His body becomes cured. All the sores go away, becomes cured. And of course, as we know, Sanatana Goswami goes on to do his wonderful work of excavating the holy places in Vrindavan, which was one of the missions Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had in his mind. He wanted, because all of the holy places of Vrindavan at the time, Radhakund, so many different places, were covered. People didn't understand where they were. There was no temples there. There was overgrown villages and so on. So Sanatana Goswami and others Goswamis found these holy places and erected wonderful temples and made them places of pilgrimage for people from that time till now. So that was one of the things he did. And also he wrote so many wonderful books. Like, what is it? Sri Krishna Leela Stava, which, oh, what am I thinking about then? No, I'm thinking of Sanatana. I thought it was Sanatana Goswami who has the summary verses of the Bhagavatam. Gopi Pranadana Prabhu translated it. No, the other one. Yeah, Krishna Leela Stava, of the translations, summary forms of the Krishna Leela, and some wonderful glorifications of Bhagavatam and so on. And then you have the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is a wonderful book describing the journey of Gopakumar and how he's, first it starts with all the devotees saying how actually they're not recipients of the Lord, but this devotee is the real recipient, and they go along like that. Prahlad Maharaj and Hanuman and Pandavas and so on. Everybody's pretty much saying, he's better, he's better, he's better. And then continues with Gopakumar and his journey through the universe and beyond, all these different places he's going. He goes to Vaikuntha, he goes to Shiva Loka, he goes to all these places, and he's never feeling at home. And then eventually he makes his way to Goloka Vrindavan, and then the peacocks and the cows and Chaitanya or Gopakumar's there, and then Krishna's coming back, and then there's this whole meeting and embracing, and then falling on the ground. Both Krishna and Gopakumar, and they're both crying and muttering the dirt, and so it's a whole journey, Gopakumar. So he wrote that book and other books. So yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam. So yeah, writing books, executing holy places, and just being an ideal example for the residents of Vrindavan. They said he was like the unofficial mayor of Vrindavan.
Did he meet with Krishna Kaviraj Goswami?
Well, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he got most of his information from Raghunath Das Goswami, personally, and from the notebooks of Swarup Damodar Goswami. That's how he wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, yeah.
What happened was that when Lord Chaitanya disappeared, Raghunath was so devastated that he went to Vrindavan, planning to jump off Govardhan Hill and commit suicide. But Sanatan and Rupa and the others pleaded with him, no, because you know all these pastimes, you have to tell us about them. So he would spend 3 hours a day on Radhakund and telling them pastimes. So, and then he wrote so many books also.
Yeah. All right, any last thing?
What was the end of his life?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I add something? Initially.
Sure. Please do.
Since you brought up Guru Maharaj, I was just thinking of him when you were before you mentioned about how
that's good. That's good because you're his disciple, right? You should be thinking of him.
And the other thing I wanted to actually add an incident where Guru Maharaj he was doing some service and he had stepped on a nail and hurt his foot, and I think he was doing service in spite of it. He ignored the injury. Srila Prabhupada learned about it, and he later told him that you need to be careful, you need to take care of this body because it is no longer yours, it is Krishna's, so it's your responsibility to take care of the body.
Yes.
So I just wanted to reconfirm from Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada the same comment that you made. So it's the devotee's responsibility to take care of the body in order, as you said, because it is Krishna's property, Guru's property,
yes,
and we used to use it for the mission. So just wanted that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, Prabhupada, he spoke to a number of disciples, bringing up this case of Sanatana Goswami. There's a letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote to Roy Ram and saying the same thing, that this body is Krishna, you have to take care of it in terms of health and so on. You're going to say about Sanatana Goswami?
Yeah, what exactly, what's the end of his life like again? How does his disappearance, his departure, I'm not thinking.
Well, I mean, it doesn't, as far as I remember reading about Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami, the other Goswamis, it doesn't really go into much detail of their disappearance. It explains how long they lived in this world, what their sadhana was, what their contributions were, and so on, but it doesn't go into, I mean, there's some details, like some acharyas, like I think it's Shamananda, what is it, like, did he merge into the body of Tota Gopinath. Am I getting that wrong? Or, you want to look that up, Govardhan? Shamananda's disappearance. But it was something happened. It was like extremely dramatic.
Narottam Das Thakur, was he the one who bathed in the Ganga?
Yeah. Narottam, yeah. Narottam, yeah. But then you have like one particular point, that I think it was Shamananda and all of his disciples. All the disciples were having a kirtan, and then he disappeared somehow, and then all the disciples just dropped there. Everybody just dropped their mridungas and kartals, and so that was so yeah. But there's not a lot of descriptions of reading the Acharya's books. Don't see that much. Yes.
This is this 2-paragraph summary of the flood situation in Mathura. Maybe I can read because it's still pretty serious.
Sure.
In Uttar Pradesh, that's where Vrindavan and Mathura are, the flood situation continues to remain grim in districts like Prayag, so that's Prayag, the confluence, Agra and Mathura. Our correspondent reports that Mathura is the worst hit region from the waters of the Yamuna, where many residential areas are submerged in water. Schools and colleges continue to remain closed as per the order of the district administration. It doesn't say anything about the temples. There must be some water in them too. At least 5,000 people in Mathura have taken shelter in relief camps. The road to the famous Banka Bihari temple is completely submerged in water. In Agra, also, the water of the Yamuna entered into the premises of the Taj Mahal and flooded other low-lying areas. On the other hand, Prayag district is also reeling under the flood fury, where waters of both the Ganges and the Yamuna have flooded many parts of the city.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about the Yamuna flooding in many years. Maybe I'm just forgetting, but do you remember hearing about it flooding in the past?
No.
Yeah, this kind of...
Ramapati would, no. The Ganges more in
Yeah,
in
you hear about
Mayapur.
Mayapur a lot more, but... So yeah, they're dealing with flooding waters over there. Govardhan, you had something? Okay. All right. Hare Krishna. We're going to be having this youth group coming today, and they'll be here till Sunday afternoon, about 50 devotees. So they'll be in part of the morning program. Mostly they're doing their own thing, in a sense, their own classes and stuff like that. But they will be around here. You'll see them. So, all over America. We had last year about 50 devotees. Their ages 18 to 30. So they do this once or twice a year. They liked it here last time in San Diego, so they wanted to come back. So they'll be here today until Monday, and devotees will be getting stuff ready around here. So, all right, Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.